Stock futures plunge as every Senate Democrat votes against the bill giving families direct cash grants, emergency loans to small businesses. Hello and welcome back to TST. If you're new to the channel, tap on the subscription button and press the notification bell so you can receive news and updates that you can rely on daily. Every Senate Democrat voted to block critical funding intended for Americans faced with the fallout from the coronavirus. It's almost like Democrats don't care about the crisis America is facing. It's almost like they're willing to roll the dice to see if their actions can hurt Trump's chances of re-election. The economic relief package was worth more than $2 trillion. The Washington Examiner reports lawmakers and the Trump administration hope to send a positive message to unstable stock markets and to Americans worried about the decimated economy and the job losses caused by the spread of the virus. The measure includes sending direct cash payments that would average about $3,000 per family and expanding unemployment insurance, as well as $350 billion in aid to struggling small businesses. It also provides $500 billion in loans to industries hurt by the economic slowdown. But Democrats are holding out for big changes to the bill, which they argue creates a slush fund for big industries and lacks sufficient protections for workers. They voted against a procedural bill to start debate on the bill, which Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell hoped to pass by Monday. The Phase 3 COVID-19 economic stimulus bill needed 60 votes to pass. Every Democratic senator voted no. Senator McConnell switched his vote to no, allowing for a second vote. 5 Republicans, Gardner from Colorado, Lee from Utah, Paul from Kentucky, Romney of Utah, and Scott from Florida, are in self-quarantine and missed the vote. C-SPAN Capitol Hill reporter Craig Kaplan reported on the vote. Fox News' Chad program is reporting the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell ripped into Democrats on the floor. According to program, Senator McConnell specifically called out the divisive House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Program claims this is as angry as we've ever seen him on the floor. According to program, McConnell is accusing Democrats of playing games with coronavirus funding, calling it utterly absurd. Program tweeted again, quoting McConnell after the vote, "We'll have this cloture vote again at some point, and hopefully some adults will show up on the other side of the room and understand the gravity of the situation before the markets go down further. We've never been confronted by anything like this before." According to program, McConnell put Pelosi in her place, saying McConnell lights up Pelosi on the floor over coronavirus talks. "She's the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the Senate. We don't have one. The markets are already reacting to this outrageous nonsense. We have an obligation to deal with this." Watch as McConnell unleashes hell on the Democrats from the Senate floor for blocking the coronavirus relief. Take a look.
And hopefully, some adults will show up on the other side of the room and understand the gravity of the situation. I'm told the futures market is down 5%. I'm also told that that's when trading stops. So the notion that we have time to play games here with the American economy and the American people is utterly absurd. So I want to explain what just happened. Our good friends on the other side would not have been disadvantaged one bit if this vote had succeeded, because it would have required potentially 30 more hours of discussion, during which these seemingly endless negotiations could go on as long as they would like. Now, the build-up to this, so everybody fully understands, is that we had a high level of bipartisanship in 5 different working groups over the last 48 hours, where members who were participating were reaching agreement. And then all of a sudden, the Democratic leader and the Speaker of the House shows up. And we're back to square one. So we're fiddling here fiddling with the emotions of the American people, fiddling with the markets, fiddling with our health care. The American people expect us to act tomorrow. And I want everybody to fully understand, if we aren't able to act tomorrow, it'll be because of our colleagues on the other side continuing to dicker when the country expects us to come together and address this problem. Now, I changed my vote, which gives me the opportunity to move to reconsider at a later time. That's all I can do in the face of this obstruction. Look, I can understand obstruction when you're trying to achieve something. This obstruction achieves nothing, nothing whatsoever, other than prevent us from getting into a position where there are literally 30 more hours that they could use to continue to dicker. So at a time when the country is crying out for bipartisanship and cooperation, and we saw that over the last 48 hours when regular members of the Senate, not in the leadership office, not in the Speaker's office, for goodness sake, she's the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the Senate. We don't have one. We were doing just fine until that intervention. So I want the American people to fully understand what's going on here. The markets are already reacting to this outrageous nonsense. We have an obligation to the American people to deal with this emergency and to deal with it tomorrow. And if we don't, I want everybody to fully understand, you've seen everybody who's on record. Now, I've conspicuously avoided trying to turn this into any kind of partisan effort for 2 days. But it's pretty clear what's going on here. And we'll have this cloture vote again at some point of my choosing. And hopefully, some adults will show up on the other side of the room and understand the gravity of the situation and the need to act before the markets go down further and the American people become even more depressed about our lack of ability to come together under the most extraordinary circumstances. We've never been confronted with anything like this before. It's totally different. And we're not immune to it in terms of the public health risk. Coronavirus has hit the Senate today as well. We have 5 members in self-quarantine. So everybody understands the emergency, particularly when it hits close to home. It's not just back in our states, but right here in the Senate. So I would say to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, step up. Step up. Help us reach an agreement so we can do what needs to be done for the American people no later than tomorrow. I suggest the absence of quorum.
The failed coronavirus funding vote in the Senate tanked the Wall Street futures. The Washington Examiner reports futures for the S&P 500 fell by 5%, forcing a stop to trading just minutes after trading opened. Expectations for stocks declined just as the Senate began voting to advance a Republican-authored $2 trillion economic relief bill without Democrats' sign-on. Democrats stopped the bill from advancing. Members of both parties and President Trump had hoped to enact the legislation by Monday, but Democrats said the GOP bill was too partisan to support. Democrats were seeking to attach more safeguards to federal assistance given to industries hammered by the coronavirus pandemic. The bill is meant to provide direct cash to families, grants to small businesses that keep employees on payroll, emergency loans to businesses, and other forms of relief for individuals, industries, and the healthcare system. Economists are anticipating the unemployment will soar in the weeks ahead as entire sectors shut down to prevent the spread of the virus. Share your thoughts and responses in the comments down below. And if you've liked this report, let us know by tapping that like button down below, share the news among friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news and updates on TST. I'm David Ravine, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe, stay home, and stay healthy.